Well, Brooke, bad news. We're not making it a full week without talking about the Real Housewives.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, sorry.
I mean,
Today, you're like,
I'll talk about
it's not a
them
week
forever.
if I don't.
I know, right?
Yeah, well, today, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills cast member Brandi Glanville is up, and she's coming for her Bravo boss, Andy Cohen. She's making some actually pretty serious accusations against Andy, and she and her team are coming out swinging.
Yeah, so these are truly just the latest in a recent string of accusations against Andy and Bravo. And given that Brandi has made her share of headlines in the past too, we truly have no idea how this is going to play out.
I know, this feels very messy and not in a good way.
It feels very Bravo, if we're being honest.
Yeah, messy Bravo. From Wondery, I'm Arisha Skidmore-Williams.
And I'm Brooke Sifrin. It's Friday, February 23rd.
And you're listening to Rich and Daily. Like it or not, Andy Cohen might just be the most powerful person in reality television. Yeah. He's the head of the Bravoverse and the puppet master who pulls more or less all of the strings. But he's been a bit of a marked man lately. Back in October, and we talked about this, some of his former Real Housewives cast members slammed him in a Vanity Fair article. Bethany Frankel, queen of talking about things that have nothing to do with her.
Although this does.
I was about to say, for once, talked about something that does have to do with her.
Yeah.
But it was her, Leah McSweeney, and Ebony K. Williams. They called out Andy's alleged toxic behavior as an executive producer. They accused him of encouraging them to get drunk on camera, being disappointed when someone's relapse wasn't caught on camera, and even enabling racist behavior. Yeah. Just a lot of toxic shit that no one should do.
Yeah.
So that was last year. And now we have another Real Housewife coming for Andy. In a letter that was sent to NBC, Warner Brothers, and Shed Media, Brandi Glanville of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, former cast member, she's accusing Andy of sexual harassment.
Right. So the letter was written by Brandi's lawyers, and it claims that Andy sent Brandi a video in which he tells her that he wants her to watch him sleep with another Bravo celebrity over FaceTime. And according to Brandi's lawyers, Andy was, quote, obviously inebriated in the video. So the letter also points out that Andy was Brandi's boss when the video was sent in 2022. And we don't exactly know when the video was sent, but Brandi was filming Ultimate Girls Trip up until January of 2023. So she was definitely still employed by Bravo at that point. The letter also says Andy exercised complete and total control over Ms. Glanville's career, and that it was an extraordinary abuse of power that left Ms. Glanville feeling trapped and disgusted. Now, the lawyers go on to write, it is inconceivable that Mr. Cohen remains in his post in spite of his behavior and harkens back to the bad old days of Matt Lauer and NBC News when profits were prioritized over people.
Yeah, I mean, I'd argue that those are the current days, too. Profits are always going to be prioritized over everything.
Yeah, of course.
But Richie's, just for a quick refresher, not that you probably need it, but Matt Lauer was dropped from the Today Show and let go by NBC after accusations came out of sexual misconduct. But Andy Cohen is not letting Brandi's accusations go unanswered. He actually tweeted yesterday with his side of the story. He said, the video shows Kate Chastain and I very clearly joking to Brandi. It was absolutely meant in jest, and Brandi's response clearly communicated she was in on the joke. That said, it was totally inappropriate, and I apologize.
It's crazy. He tweeted this, so soon after all of this came out. He was wasting zero time.
I'm not convinced they didn't know this was coming, and so they just had his finger was over the publish button.
Well, I'm sure he knows about a lawsuit before the press does, I would think.
Yeah,
but
yeah, exactly.
So Kate Chastain, for anyone who doesn't know, is a former cast member of the Bravo show Below Deck. And we're not sure, she's also currently on The Traitors. And we're not sure if Andy was talking about having sex with Kate or a different Bravo star because Brandi's letter doesn't really name names. But my guess would be it was probably Kate. I'm sure it was the two of them being like, hey, Brandi, knowing them.
No, what? What was it like?
Hey, Brandi, you know?
Yep, that sounds about
just
right.
Classic Kate and Andy stuff.
Yeah.
But either way, it seems like Kate was in on the joke with Andy. But we don't know. Kate hasn't said anything yet. I really want to hear what Kate has to say about this. But an anonymous source who claims to have seen this video is taking Andy's side, and they told people no one in their right mind would think that anything Andy was saying in that video was meant to be taken seriously. It was very clear that everyone was in on the joke. So,
which, if all of my corporate sexual harassment training has taught me anything, it's that intent has nothing to do with reception.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah.
That source, aka Andy in a wig, can say whatever they want. But something that's pretty interesting about Brandi's accusations against Andy here is that Brandi has actually faced similar charges herself.
Yeah.
We also talked about this on the show. Last year, there were allegations that Brandi had sexually assaulted Real Housewives of New Jersey cast member Caroline Manzo. Multiple sources claim that while they were filming the Ultimate Girls Trip, Brandi touched and kissed Caroline without her consent. And just last month, Caroline kicked it up a notch by filing a lawsuit against Bravo.
Yeah. Now, we should clarify the lawsuit is against Bravo, not Brandi, even though obviously Brandi is mentioned. So in Caroline's suit, she says the network didn't do enough to protect her against Brandi's advances while they were filming. She says Bravo allowed, condoned, and even encouraged Brandi's sexually aggressive and offensive conduct on set and profited from Brandi's sexually offensive and harassing conduct and, once again, chose ratings and profit over protecting their employees. So this alleged incident is also referred to in that letter that Brandi's lawyers sent regarding her accusations. And they said, we have heard about a supposed bathroom incident through press leaks, but Shed Media has repeatedly refused to allow Ms. Glanville or her counsel to see the footage in question. There is no truth to any allegations of impropriety. Ms. Glanville and Ms. Manzo were never alone together that evening. This is all just a lot of he said, she said, you know?
Yeah, it is a lot. And it feels, like we said at the top, it feels very messy and it just feels like there's so much more to what goes on that isn't coming out to light.
Yeah. It's kind of annoying, to be honest, because this footage exists.
Yeah.
At least from Ultimate Girls Trip. And the video that Andy sent is probably out there too if someone's claiming they've seen it.
I mean, sending the video, like, it's got to be saved on someone's phone.
Yeah. I mean,
and it's also weird to send a video to request a FaceTime.
Yeah, that is actually really weird. I mean, I'm sure Kate and Andy were hanging out somewhere and they were drinking and whatever. And they were like, let's call Brandi or let's send Brandi a video because Kate and Brandi are friends. Andy and Brandi are friends. You know, Brandi was on Celebrity Big Brother. And there's a point in the show where like they'll have like a loved one send a video in and be like, I'm so proud of you, blah, blah, blah. And like it's usually like a spouse or your kids or your family. Yeah. Brandi's was Andy Cohen. And I was like, wow, okay. Guess they're good friends.
Was it that or was it like we got to get ratings up? So your friend has to be Andy Cohen.
Big Brother
Andy Cohen, the
ratings.
puppet master.
They should get Andy Cohen on there. But I don't know. So I was like very surprised when I saw this that she, is now coming. And I was like watching a TikTok about this and they were like, it's possible that Brandi wasn't offended. This is Brandi's sense of humor typically. But that she was like, if I'm being held accountable for something, maybe the head of Bravo should be held accountable for it too. So who knows? I think they could put a lot of this to bed if they would just show the footage. And we're never going to see this Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. I just know it. But the footage exists. I guess Caroline doesn't want it shown. But in a legal situation, I think you got to release that footage to somebody.
Yeah, they get subpoenaed.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm interested to see how this plays out. And like I said, I'm interested to see if Kate says something. She may say something by the time this episode goes up. So who knows?
Well, it's just, I don't know. It feels like we talked about this. We have so little information.
I know.
And we're getting these big like buzzwords, but we're not getting any more context to these stories.
Yeah. I don't like it.
Welcome
for
to
a
reality
network
television.
That shows us everything. They're showing us nothing.
Yeah. They're all being so cagey.
Yeah. Enough.
Maybe we should just stop watching.
No. That's crazy. Don't ever say that again.
From Wondery, I'm Arisha Skidmore-Williams.
And I'm Brooke Sifrin. This is Rich and Daily.
Have a great weekend, Richies.
See you Monday. If you like our show, please follow us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you're listening right now.
Be sure to follow us on all socials at Arisha Skidmore-Williams and at Brooke Sifrin. We love to connect with you.